Oh, what's going on, y'all? How y'all doing? It's your boy Core 187. So you want to build muscle? Understand there's a giveaway going on. All you got to do is subscribe, share this channel over and over again, and you could be a winner to win the Switch 2 giveaway. If you need to look at any of the information, go ahead and check out my other videos, and it will pretty much give you all the information that you need. This episode is about gaining muscle. As you can tell, a lot of people want to know when I started, how it all happened, etc., etc. So, I remember growing up, I used to be like 150 pounds at most at one point. Not even, maybe 140. I was really, really skinny. And I always wanted to build muscle, and I wanted to make a change. So I got to the South, moved to North Carolina, you know what I mean? And when I got here, the mother of my kids, we lived at her grandmother's house, right? So at the time, there was a lot of, drink at the house. So I started drinking up like crazy. I went from 150 to about maybe 250, 260, right? No, I don't have no pictures. I may have one where my face is bloated, but like I really didn't take a lot of pictures like that. I think I got 2 pictures when you can see there was weight on me. And after that happened, I was working for a bank. I was an IRA representative. I was rolling over 401k plans and liquidating stocks, or I would, pretty much transfer the stocks into the new IRA or Roth IRA, whatever they wanted to do. That's what I used to do. In the process of that, there was food downstairs. I worked in the actual corporate building. I didn't work in the branch. No disrespect at all. I worked in the corporate. So there would be a cafeteria. Haagen-Dazs was downstairs. Moe's was downstairs. Chick-fil-A was downstairs. And Quiznos. I don't know if they still open, but Quiznos was down there. So you had all of those going on at once. And I ain't gonna lie, the lunch down there was really good besides the stuff that, the common stuff, the name brand things. So I would literally eat, go back to my cubicle and sit. I mean, I don't know how I did it before. I realized back then how many people that were exercising in there, they literally were on point, because you got to think about it. You had a cubicle trying to roll over, these 401k plans and still eating. Oh my gosh. Like, you want to talk about sleepy? I used to catch the itis all the time, especially if I had nothing to do waiting on the call. It was crazy. So what happened was I lost the job. And I remember, like, throughout that time, I was building to get my CDLs. And I said to myself, okay, well, I want to start working on my body. Everybody laughed. You ain't going to work on your body. Like, you ain't going to do X, Y, and Z. I was like, no, I need to get back. I need to get in the gym and do what I have to do. And I got to the gym. It started with push-ups. I would do 50 push-ups every other day. And then I would do 50 sit-ups every other day. And then after I mastered that, I would just keep climbing higher and higher and higher. After that happened, I remember having a situation where I had a friend who lived like behind us in this apartment that we used to live in. And I remember him telling me, like, hey, man, like, his name was Brandon. He was like, hey, man, I don't know if you want to get into like body fitness, but if you want to, you got to take it to the next level. So I would go with him because he was a trainer. So I worked out with him, did what I had to do. There's another story behind that, but I'll leave that there. So in the process of that, I started building muscle, this, that, and the third. For one, for some strange reason, when I was skinnier, people used to not take me serious. Because I'm light skinned, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, they didn't take me serious. They kind of looked at me like I was a joke. And I really didn't like the fact of having that situation. Like, I wasn't trying to be the biggest intimidating person. I didn't want that. I just wanted to have a sense of respect because of who I was as a person. I wasn't getting that. And once I started building the muscle, I started seeing the change in how people's demeanor and how they like looked at me at one point. I was heavily respected at one point. People look at you a certain way. They don't know how to read you. It could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on the circumstance. So I started building muscle, started eating right, eating clean, chicken, fish is like my number one go-to still to this very day. I may have a steak once in a while. You gotta treat yourself once in a while. But steak, I kind of stayed away from the starch. The only thing I really did take, I used to take this thing called Animal Cuts. And Animal Cuts was literally like a fat burner, so I would take that heavy. I don't take that anymore. And I did all of those to kind of keep my body right and tight. You know what I'm saying? And I've been doing this since 24, 25. And I'll take some pictures and I'll bring them into the video so you can see like where it was and where I'm at now. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, if this is something that you really want to do, it's all about dedication. You got to have a clean diet. That's just what it is. You got to have a clean diet. You got to know when to shut down. You know, after 7:30, you shouldn't be eating. Let the body digest. I only eat one meal most of the time, one time out the day every week, to keep my body a certain way. Because like I said, I'm 38 years old. I may not look it in certain cases, but I'm 38, right? And you know, I keep it clean, I keep it right, you know, and at the same time, I make sure I hit that treadmill. I hit my push-ups, I hit my sit-ups, you know, I go in the gym, you know, I'm doing my leg presses. All of these things are important, especially as you get older. You know, one thing about bones and you being consistent with doing exercise and lifting, you know, your bones are a lot more stronger compared to somebody who doesn't work out. You know what I'm saying? And like, I want to go into my 50s and my 60s strong. I want to be as good as much as possible, you know. But yeah, you know, eat right. I don't do drugs. I don't, you know, I may drink wine once in a while, but I'm not heavy. I don't smoke weed. I don't go out there, and I'm not outside. I'm just being honest with you people. Like, you know, ecstasy, Molly, it drains your spinal fluid. Just, you know what I'm saying? Like, just being honest. But I don't do none of those things. I just stay consistent in what I have going on. I love the fact of what I do and how I do it. Just want to stay consistent on being a good role model and still putting on that cape of myself, of wanting to be and how I want to look and how I want to present myself on a day-to-day basis. And you should too, you know. So if you out there, you want to make a change and you dealing with the struggles, find a new thing that is a struggle but becomes an addiction, so that this addiction could be a positive output, not a negative one. You know what I mean? And that was another thing too, the reason why I also started lifting and getting to where I was at, because I had my own problems, people. Everybody, I wasn't perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like I had corn problems. You know what I'm saying? I watched a lot of corn and killed a lot of things. So if anybody's out there, you watching this and you out here, you know, you know, you know what I'm saying? You out here wilding. Listen, man, get off of that. You killing your dopamine levels, and you're not really seeing the satisfaction of life, because that is your number one thing. If that's what you're on, or if there's any type of addiction that you're doing, you have to stop. That's negative. You know what I mean? Get yourself in a better situation, put yourself in a better spot, and be better for the sake of not just yourself, but people around you, and still be a positive mindset about what you do and how you do. That's just what I want to tell you guys today. So if you're into wanting to work out, you want to make a change with your life, there's nothing wrong with that. But to make the change, you got to change within yourself first to make that change. Understand that. All right? Holla at y'all. Peace.